Yeah, I'm out at the CFMEU rally, and we've got people speaking, and I'm telling you, there would be at least 30,000 people here today, comrades.
No way!
30,000 people. It's amazing, and I'll move in a bit closer, and let's hear what they've got to say.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we've got Peter Ong speaking. You're hearing the end of Peter Ong speak right now.
And we congratulate them for doing that. That was the ACTU back then. The ACTU today, without any evidence whatsoever, has condemned the CFMEU and its membership, has suspended their membership of the ACTU, and have turned on one of its own affiliates. That is an absolute disgrace. That is shameful. That is heinous. And that can't be forgiven. Sell out, Sally. So back to Murray Watt. Because remember, it was Tony Burke. Tony Burke was doing it, but then all of a sudden Tony Burke got removed and we've got Murray Watt. I don't know what's going on there, why or how that happened. But obviously Murray was pretty keen to be the fucking henchman. So Murray steps in while the CFMEU is trying to fix some shit up. And he says, you're not moving quick enough. Zach says, but I'm talking to the manager of Fair Work Australia trying to work out how this administration might work. And Murray Watt says, I don't care. I'm going to legislate anyway. I'm coming over the top. Let me tell you about our legal system. Due process, natural justice, and the presumption of innocence. They are the three pillars of our legal justice system. And not one of them was afforded to the CFMEU or its membership. Not one. In fact, Murray Watt legislated to remove all three of those from the CFMEU and its membership. And that in itself should be something rising up about and hitting the streets about. And my God, it's good to have a look out here and see all you people marching in the streets. I know it's not all CFMEU. I know it's not all CFMEU. I know there's a whole range of unions. I know there's a whole range of community people. I know there's a whole range of retired trade unionists who have just come along because they're disgusted in what they're seeing the ALP, supposedly the political arm of the workers, and how it's turned on the workforce and the trade union movement. I want to tell you one thing, right? This is Murray Watt's inaugural speech to the Senate, and I'll read it word for word, his comments. It is impossible to imagine a society where wealth is shared and where everyone gets a fair go without an active trade union, without an active trade union movement. Well, I don't know whether he's on LSD, his head had concussion, or maybe he's been bribed. I don't know. But who turns like that on their own? He is a trade union member. He's a grub of the highest order. Comrades, this is not about criminal activity. This is not about corruption. This is a political attack on the CFMEU and its membership, because it's 130,000 members who have been left deserted on the playing field. 270 position holders of the CFMEU were vacated last week. That still leaves, hear me out, they were elected positions, right? Thank Christ Bradford didn't trust to elect all of his organisers. I'm only joking. There are 30 rank and file, or 30 organisers on the field still, who still have their jobs. Now, that may change when the administrator gets in and says, do you have a right of entry or not? But there will still be organisers on the ground doing what needs to be done, because 130,000 members are looking for leadership, and they're looking for guidance, and they're looking to be organised, because that's what we do best. This is, without a doubt, the greatest act of treachery against workers in this country. And it will not be forgotten, and it will not be forgiven. The only way out of this going forward, comrades, is two things we've got to do most importantly. Organise, 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 and organise some more. Because that's what our workers, that's what our members expect, and that's what they need. We must show discipline at this time. Because right now, they're looking for any reason to deregister the CFMEU. And I can tell you now, they've already said it in Parliament. The ETU is next. It was said by the opposition spokesperson for industrial relations in New South Wales Parliament. Maybe the ETU is next in line for this. I've been told that in Murray Watt's office he's saying, this is just the beginning. The ETU is next. And who's next after that? And who's next after that? This is an absolute disgrace, comrades. We've got to organise on the ground. Your organisers will be out there doing exactly that. We will now run more together as the building trades group when we organise on jobs. We used to do it all the time. We used to do it all the time. There's nothing more powerful and nothing workers love seeing more than 4 officials from 4 different building trades group of unions coming on the job, fixing issues and organising workers. And that's what we'll be doing going forward. And the other thing we've got to keep up, comrades, and that is campaigning and rallying. This is the start. We need to be in ALP space every week. Every week, in my opinion. And you should be holding us to that. One day a week is not too much to lose. We are redirecting. The ETU is redirecting all funds that might have previously gone to the ALP towards a challenge against this legislation. And there's a reason for that. A, because obviously the CFMEU is going to be in a position where it won't have access to its money, and that is fucking disgusting. Can you imagine? Let me tell you what I think it'd feel like. I won't say what I said in the organisers' meeting the other day, but can you imagine being a parent, 2 parents with 3 kids, and all of a sudden the court of law says to you, you can't look after your kids anymore, you're not the parents anymore, we're going to put these other 2 in, you can sit there and watch, but we're going to put these other 2 parents in to raise your children. That's what it must be like to be the leadership of the CFMEU and be told you're out wearing one administrator for 270 positions, has total control, can change the rules of the union, can do whatever he likes. Oh, this is unacceptable. And this can't be allowed to go on, so we've got to keep campaigning, comrades. It's quite simple. The trade union movement as we know it in this country is under attack. And what do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we're under attack? Well, let's fucking do it, comrades.
And yes, we just heard from Peter Ong, the Secretary of Queensland's ETU.
That was awesome.
And, now we'll probably move on to the next speaker. Here we go.
Here we go.
Is a carpenter, a stepmother, a traffic controller, a cleaner, a plasterer.
We're hearing from Jade from the CFMEU Queensland.
Every other trade that makes up our great union. This union is proudly owned and will be controlled again by its members. That's our fight. And so the next speaker, as I said a moment ago, when you're in a blue and people turn up to stand beside you, and not just stand beside you, or be a part of the fight, you know that they're fair income. Now, they haven't done this for any reason, not because there's been any promises made, no commitments for nothing. They've done this and they took this fight on because it's the right thing to do. Not because it's popular, but because it's the right thing to do. But guess what? standing up for working class values. Here's the message, Labor Party. It is actually the popular thing to do as well. Who do they think will vote for them? But the Speaker I want to introduce, he's been very vocal about this issue. He's a friend of our union, Max Chandler-Mather from the Australian Greens. When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? You should be incredibly proud today because you are not just standing up for the rights of construction workers, for painters, for scaffolders, for all the workers on construction sites. You are standing up for the rights of every worker in this country to have a free union. And let's be clear what Labor has done. They have passed the most draconian, anti-worker, anti-union laws this country has ever seen. Shame. What these laws do is let the minister take control of the CFMEU, sell its assets if it wishes, take control of all of its money, fire workers, regardless of whether or not they've even been accused of wrongdoing, place the entire union into administration and deny every construction worker in this union access to natural justice, the rule of law and a presumption of innocence, and I say shame. Labor, though, why is this an attack not just on construction workers but on every worker in this country? Because Labor has set a dangerous precedent. What they have done is handed every future Labor or Liberal government a blueprint on how to seize control of any trade union or civil society association they don't like and crush it. And that is disgraceful. Now look, everyone here opposes corruption. Everyone here opposes misogyny. But it should not be controversial to say that allegations should be tested in a court through a fair trial. Instead, Labor has used these untested allegations as an excuse to attack an entire union. And let's be clear, that union is everyone here today, not any individual. It is all of you here today, and they have attacked all of you. And what are these destructive laws really about? Because why is it that no bank was placed into administration after the Banking Royal Commission found clear evidence of fraud, bribery and financial abuse that, let's be clear, destroyed people's lives? Why was no bank placed into administration? Why is it that when the negligence of big corporations and developers leads to the deaths of workers or stolen wages, why is it none of those corporations ever get placed into administration? It was reported in the media today that the administrator was forcing CFMEU social media pages to delete posts promoting this rally. And I thought this whole process was about cracking down on wrongdoing, not suppressing our basic democratic right to free protest. Now, here's, I think, a bit of a clue about what this is really about. Because the Federal Labor Housing Minister said this morning, it was absolutely our hope that this action would make building easier, quicker and cheaper. Now, you know what that means? Construction workers being paid lower wages. You know what that means? Bosses forcing workers to cut corners and placing their lives in danger. You know what quicker, easier and cheaper means? More construction workers dying on construction sites. And that is outrageous. And let's be clear, all of you today organised in this powerful union in the CFMEU, your union has saved lives. Your union has meant that men and women on construction sites can go home to their families safe in the knowledge that they have a collective workers' movement that defends their rights. Your union means that every worker with an EBA negotiated by the CFMEU means fair wages, means safe conditions, means a good life for you, because you are the ones building the wealth in this country.
And Labor tries to blame construction workers, and this is a sick joke. Labor tries to blame construction workers for the housing crisis. How dare they? And a message to the Labor Party. We're in a housing crisis because Labor and the Liberals cut funding for public housing, not because of construction workers. We're in a housing crisis because Labor and the Liberals give big tax handouts to wealthy property investors, not because of construction workers. We're in a housing crisis because Labor and the Liberals chose big profits for banks, property developers and big corporations over the lives of the millions of renters and mortgage holders in this country. And media and the Labor and Liberal politicians will try to paint everyone here today as radicals. You'll see it in the media tonight. You'll be dismissed as radicals. You'll be defamed. Your character will be attacked. But it is not radical to believe that a construction worker deserves the same rights to a fair trial as a banker, CEO or politician. It is not radical to believe that allegations of wrongdoing should be tested in a court, not by politicians. It is not radical to believe that union workers should have the democratic right to determine the destiny of your own union. And it is not radical to believe that construction workers should have the right to strike to protect your rights, your wages and your conditions. Indeed, the real radicals are the Labor and Liberal politicians who have, on the basis of untested allegations, set a precedent where politicians can act as the judge, jury and executioner, making a mockery of natural justice and the rule of law. And look, you should know this, and I see it down in Parliament all the time. The strength of construction workers does not come from asking a Labor government for scraps. It does not come from a few officials going on to get careers in the Labor Party. The strength of your union comes from the organised, collective strength of you as construction workers. And let's be clear, the political class hates you for that. But you should wear it as a badge of honour. So I'm here today for a few reasons. One, because last year, when we were fighting for public housing and renters' rights, do you know who stood with us? The only union that stood with us? CFMEU workers. CFMEU workers. I'm here because when the rights of workers are under attack, I believe it is our responsibility to stand with those workers and defend them. But look, ultimately, I'm here because I believe in a political movement that takes on the power of big corporations, developers and the banks and redistributes that wealth in favour of ordinary working people, that gives people the housing, healthcare, education that we all need to live a good life. And let's be very clear. The only way we will win that future is with a powerful, organised construction union that stands up not just for all of you, but for the teachers, for the nurses, for the cleaners, for any worker in this country. They need a powerful construction union, and that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Another big cheer for Max and the Greens! The only political party that voted against this bullshit in the Senate, that's what they did, and we will never forget that either. Thank you, Max, and your people. The next speaker I want to introduce is my mate, my brother, and another one of us that have recently joined the ranks of the unemployed. Please make welcome Assistant Secretary of the mighty CFMEU, Kane Lowth. Thanks, Jade. Thanks, everybody, for turning out in such large numbers. Ongi stole a little bit of my stuff, but I've got a slightly different view to him. And I've probably got a slightly different view to a few, and I've been strictly told that this is through my eyes only. It's not for anyone else, and that was from my lawyer this morning. So, look, we had a TV and a media pile-on. That got the Labor Party into a frenzy. Then we saw Albo and Tony Burke and the other Labor luminaries come out talking about everything from deregistration to administration. And then a couple of days after that, they wheeled out Sell-Out Sally. And, she parroted them word for word, which is appropriate because she hasn't had a good idea for the trade union movement for nearly a decade. All of a sudden, we started getting a bit of correspondence from a bloke called Murray Furlong.
His first bit of correspondence was, listen, I've been reading a few papers, watched a bit of telly. I think you could do with a bit of a hand. I might just pop in and see if I could be an administrator for you. Well, of course, Michael, Jade and myself obviously got the lawyers to write a letter and, look like a word salad, but at the end of the day, what it said was, thanks, Laurie, but fuck you later. And I'll give Murray this. He's pretty fucking persistent. He wrote another letter. He said, can I catch you down at the federal court? Because I'm really going to try and put you into administration this time. Now, I personally didn't go to this federal court, but I heard it on pretty good authority that after the Silks had all spoken and whatnot, the old justice called Murray over and said, hey, listen, old son, a few newspaper clippings and a bit of video from a TV show, that's not evidence in here. So I'll adjourn this till the 6th of September, and off you go, old son, and get some evidence. So anyway, in the meantime, Tony Burke has been replaced by Murray Twat, and what I will say that where I'm against, or I've got a different view to Ongie, is they deliberately shielded Tony Burke from all this because he's in the lower house and his seat would have been vulnerable for what he's done to democracy, and they gave it to a senator from Queensland who, like, previous speakers have said, would have been jumping up at the back of the classroom, putting his hand up, pick me, pick me. And anyway, so this Murray Furlong anyway had to go. This all happened afterwards. Murray Furlong had to go to Burke. Burke had to then go and find Elbow. So he jumped in his car, drove out to Western Sydney, found Elbow standing in front of an old commission house as he usually does. Had to be an old one because he hasn't built fucking anything in 2.5 years. And Burke said to Elbow, listen, I need out. You need to get someone else. And like I said, they gave it to Murray Twat. Now, bear with me, comrades. This is where shit gets fucking weird. On that Thursday, so not last Thursday, the Thursday before, the Liberals and the Greens voted against this bill. The Greens did it for the right reason. They believe in fucking democracy. The Libs did it to cause a little bit of pain and to make it worse. So that's what happened on the Thursday. And then on Monday last week, I thought I was just in another fucking paradigm. I was driving in my car and I'm hearing this radio and I'm hearing this lady screaming, the NBA want these laws. The Civil Contractors Federation wants these laws. The Business Council of Australia wants these laws. And I'm thinking, holy hell, Michaelia Cash got out of the bed on the wrong side today. And then the penny dropped. The penny dropped. It wasn't Michaelia Cash. It was the leader of the Labor Party in the Senate, Penny Wong. Well, it gets better on that same day. So I've now jumped forward to Monday the 19th, just Monday a week ago. And, it still looked like the Libs and the Labor were bluing a bit about it. But somehow in the afternoon, and this is what I reckon happened, I reckon they reached into the cupboards, got a few bottles of red. This is the Labor Party. Wandered over to where the Liberals and Nationals were. Rolled out the plastic sheets and threw around some baby oil and consummated a fucking unholy alliance. And from that point in time, in the shortest gestation period of any legislation that's ever gone through Parliament, a bastard of a law was born. Now, I'm going to leave it here because I know there's a heap of speakers afterwards, but I do want to say a couple of words. I've known John Setka for a while, and the one thing he doesn't do is he doesn't lie. And when he said a deal was done and a deal was broken. As Ongie said, this cannot be the first and last rally on this issue. And we spoke about how bad it is for the union movement, but it's worse than that. It's an attack on the cornerstones of democracy. So please, when the rallying cry comes out in future, attend these rallies. I want to do a couple of quick acknowledgements now. Ongie from the ETU and your members, thank you, brothers. You were the first ones to come out, and you came out hard. To the members of the CFMEU, don't resign. Stay in here. This is your union. You will get it back. Stay disciplined and stay militant. To the wonderful delegates, staff and organisers, you are well equipped to move forward. This union has never been in a better position to defend these attacks, and I want to just acknowledge everybody's hard work that they've done to get us in this position where we're able to defend it. So thank you to delegates, organisers and staff. And I just want to acknowledge the families that are affected. I'll just do a short story. I'm not, doing this for pity or anything like that. I was asked by my union about 8 or 9 years ago to move from Mackay up to Darwin. My son and wife didn't blink. I was asked a few years ago, about 4 years ago now, could you come down to Darwin? And in the meantime, you've all made friends and all that sort of stuff. And they didn't blink again. You can't do these jobs without a supportive family, and I want to thank you for that. And I have to acknowledge these two blokes beside me. It's been one hell of a ride. We've had a few blues in the rooms, between ourselves when you're trying to develop things, and that's what it is. It's a democracy. It's all of those things. But we've always shared one common goal, and that's to advance the wages and the working conditions of working people. And in saying that, we've walked one way through the fires of hell, and I can't think of two better blokes to walk the other way back through it. Thanks very much, Jade, Ingham and Michael Rathbard.
Now it's my turn. Brothers and sisters, it's been a really tough few weeks. Not so much personally, because for those of us that are fair income who do this job, we don't consider it to be a job. This is a calling. This is something that we would do for free. And guess what? Now we're going to have to. The seat that I sit in, I don't own it. That seat is owned by you. The members own our union. The members drive our union to be better. The rank and file are who stands to lose the most if this attack is successful. Because they may think that they can knock off a couple of leaders, but they have underestimated what a union is. They've underestimated who our union is. Trade unionism is a fire that burns inside of you. It's a fire that makes you get out of bed in the morning and go and fight the good fight and stand up for other people. To stand up to the bullies. To make the sacrifices that we need to make. To ensure that the next generation of workers gets a better industry than the one that we came into. Rowan Webb spoke about our forefathers, and we pay our respects and we owe them a debt. And the legacy is something that must drive us. But we also owe it to the next generation of workers who are going to come after us. Trade unionism is deeper than a financial transaction where you pay for a union ticket and then the union gets you some more money. That's not what unionism is. Unionism comes from deep within. It's a set of values, a core set of principles, a code, a way of life that we are loyal to, that we are prepared to fight for, that we're prepared to go to fucking jail for. And some of us are prepared to die for it. They think they picked a fight with 270 office holders of this union. They picked a fight with 130,000 construction workers across the country. They picked a fight with all trade unionists in this country and our families. I did write some stuff down. There's a lot to say. They've made allegations in the media, a TV show that I didn't even know still existed. A couple of politicians did a dirty deal. The deal was okay until they reneged on it. And what John Setka said on the news or on Channel 7 on Sunday night is true. It happened. Shame! Shame on the Labor Party. Forget about the notion of a fair trial. They won't even let us have a fucking trial. They worked out they weren't going to win the court case, so they had to change the laws. This week, some people are saying that this is the week in Australia that democracy died. I don't believe that. To assume that it died assumes that we're not going to fight for it. And we are going to fight for it. This is a fight for the type of country that you want to live in. It's a fight for the type of country that we want our kids to grow up in. Will you stand beside me in this fight? I have great hope that we win this fight. What gives me hope is looking at all of your faces. What gives me hope is the messages of support from other unionists in this country, from our own members, from other political parties who are not the LNALP. I don't know if you're aware of that. We've got a new coalition in this country, the LNALP. Peter Dutton said a few weeks ago, I don't think he's the answer, he said a few weeks ago when the CFMEU are gone, construction workers can join the AWU. And so I have great hope. I have great hope that we've got the tenacity, we've got the discipline, we've got the fire in our belly to win this fight. History will condemn this act of treachery. History will condemn it. The truth will set us free. We are not the CFMEU. You are the CFMEU. And it's up to everybody here to keep the standards, to keep the faith, to keep the fight, to keep the fire burning inside of your guts so that we win this fight. CFMEU, here to stay! CFMEU! 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 Here to stay! Thank you, brothers and sisters!